Hey guys, welcome to round 3 of the Review Crew Monday Night Supercoach Live. I was not the last one here as opposed to what happened last week, so I'm very, very happy. How we doing, fellas?
Good.
Going well.
Better than my Supercoach team is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, mine too. I mean, like, I probably scored a little bit more than you. We'll go through all of that later, but it's, it feels a little bit like the haves and have-nots of Supercoach this week and last week. Some people have good rookies and some people have Aiden Johnson. So, yeah, it's not great.
To be fair, Aiden Johnson looked decent in that first game, and I almost bring him in. And third, probably
he got suspended. How we doing, fellas? Monday. Got over a few potential injury newses and stuff like that, so it's working out all right.
Yeah. I mean, Lindsay looks to be good in 2 weeks max at the moment, based on what's coming out of the club.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because if some of the other rookies are subs, I might just hold him, keep him on the bench, to be honest with you, because he'll go back to 75, 80s. We saw with McKercher last year do that, so we'll see if we get the subs from coaches again.
Do we want to talk about the subs?
Oh, mate.
Start off with a bang. Let's go for it.
I'll tell you what. Nevitt, you got Hewitt. Who else was in there? There's a couple others. Is that about it?
You could talk about who got subbed off as well.
Yeah, then you had also Lindsay get subbed off with injury and also SDK. So I think I copped 4. Or was there another one that I copped as well? I copped 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I think only 4. Only 4.
Only.
Yeah. Alongside the other injuries as well. So
yeah, we'll talk about a few people going up and down, but there's a certain Will Ashcroft that quite a few people in the community got rid of, and then he got rewarded with a 130, so it's not so great there. Charles, how you doing, mate? Hello, gents. Can't join tonight. One question. Who would you think has the best job security out of Moraes, Closey, and Erasmus? All three kind of a little bit shaky guys. Who do we like?
I like Moraes more than those two. I think Erasmus might even be out of the team before the other midfielders come back in Young and Fife. Closey was this sub and did a massive performance and had another decent performance, but it's at the point now with Geelong rookies that I don't want to touch any of them because if you have a good game, you're probably the sub the next week.
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
Yeah, I mean, I like Moraes more than Moraes, however you say it, more than I like Bice, to be honest. I reckon he's got more scoring power. Playing sort of that half-back wing role. So you're gonna see a few inconsistent scores, but I think his job security is pretty good. I don't think he gets dropped for Butters, especially based off the game he just played. Erasmus, we know the job security there. It's pretty ordinary. And Closey, however you say it, is I think his brother was probably a bit better of a selection than him last year.
Yeah. Look, probably. That's like these are the three where, as Big J said, it's kind of shaky. Like Moraes. Someone needs to correct us on how to pronounce it before we go the whole stream saying it poorly. If Butters comes back, like we know Butters doesn't come into a wing role, like we know that. But what are the movements that Port make when Butters comes back into the team? I'm not too sure. There's no clear indicators, but I think out of those three, yeah, Moraes is definitely probably top of the one that I would get for. And is Bice the alternative as well? Like if you have to weigh up Bice or Moraes, who do you kind of lean with? Like I think it's almost a flip of the coin at this point. Like I don't know how to draw the line between the two.
Yeah, Bice is currently in my team. hoping that he keeps his spot with all these with all these Sydney players coming back. So, there you go. Moraes has that. Kai magically is typing for everyone else. As the best job security, blah, blah. Erasmus is gone when Young is back and Closey plays for Geelong. And Chris Scott, Nazis. So there you go. It's bad when scoring comes out of the forward line. Yeah, 100%. Did feel a little bit like some coaches were saved by having Davidson and other coaches, their ranks were saved by people having him on the bench this week. Can West Coast cover Marek being a defensive liability? I think so. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with MyGov as well. Came in and was scoring quite well. Obviously, inflated scores when McGovern was out, but he was in everyone's considerations, I think, for a period of time during the preseason. So worked out all right there. I'm gutted because I can't make space for Moraes, 100% for me as well, but I want to bring in a couple other players. Could get him in, but sacrifice Humphrey. I think Humphrey will be better long term. Guys, we like Humphrey.
Humpty Dumpty. Look, there's been a fair bit of discussion over the last 24 hours on the Humpty versus like marriage sort of situation. I tend to lean more towards like marriage at that price or around that price, but I think Humpty is still like a really good pick if you're short on cash and you want to try and get a dud rookie off field, for example. Sure, I don't see any issues with it. He's got 3 in the next 3 games. I think next week's a bit tougher, but the 2 games after open up a little bit for him, so should see some decent scores.
Yeah, I think it's just the scoring potential a little bit for myself as well. From memory, he's 4th in line in the mids, so it offers something really cheeky for them. And I've heard about him being, Dustin Martin light? And we know how Dimmer Hardwick loves a Dustin Martin. So
we're saying that about Law as well, though.
Yeah, but he's no longer coaching Richmond, so
that's fair.
Could work out okay that
Adelaide
way.
North, Richmond in the next 3, which 2 easy 100 or 90 plus scores there.
Yeah. I like him.
I reckon I'm definitely on the Marich train for sure. I think the role's better. I think he's getting at least every game he's going to get at least 50% kick-ins based off the data that we've been given. And West Coast are going to give up some big scores, and if you can get like potentially 30 points a game off kick-ins at 265k, I think that's almost too good to refuse. And he's getting that follow-up handball. So I probably think he's a better pick than Humphrey, although he's got a tough matchup this week, but the 2 weeks after do look very good. We just haven't seen how well he scores in a 50-50 game.
Fair enough. Global, g'day, you beautiful people. How you doing, Globes? George Hewitt is a must-have. He's going 517k all the way to being 567.
Stop it. I can't go a day without hearing about Hewitt. Literally been going since Saturday.
Thank God the round is over. What a train wreck. 100% initiator. CWT. Now, this guy deserves a bit of a shout out. Currently ranked 4 in Supercoach. So doing very, very well. Mad fan of the channel and also a member. So big shout out there, CWT. Hopefully your season continues on from where it is. Marriott or Humpty, kind of covered this one a little bit, guys. I've got Humpty at the moment, but can definitely be swayed. Velo, good evening all. How you doing, Velo? Don't know how people had Chera over Hewitt. Oh, mate, we're going on. Hey, Legends, thoughts on Horn, Francis, Hasty, and Patton to buy Smith and Marriage? Now, I jumped off the Horn Francis train last week. I think I was blessed a little bit. A lot of people were very lucky that he scored as well as he did, I think. Last quarter Blues where, what was he on? From memory, he was on 34 and then ended up on 80 or something. So, yeah, very, very lucky there. either a goal or a goal assist, which definitely helped him out. Guys, what do we think about the trade? Barring Bice being a keeper or not. Does it work out okay? Or hey, maybe pick someone else if you can.
I like it. I don't really see. You're getting cash gen. JHF obviously has that 150 break even. We don't know if he's actually going to be a premium this year. So you're getting someone who's, I think, is probably going to average more than him in Smith. And you're getting two pretty dead rookies out of there for three playing players. So I can't argue with it, to be honest.
I like the trades. Michael, hey, Legends, 1982 this week. Bloody fantastic. I think he beat all of us, which is fun. Up 11,000 spots. Freo saved the Coasters team. Yeah, mate. Freo, I don't know what's up this Freo team, but whenever they play, they just seem to dominate. If I can quickly pull up fan footy, they had a big differential in points compared to the opposition. Not as bad as we've seen against Richmond, but they did score a cheeky 400 points more than West Coast. So, yeah, a lot of people scoring hundreds. And if you had a Luke Jackson in your team, 165 there. Captain Flash, hello, lads. How you doing? Glad to see Lindsay's being cleared, 100%. How Joe feeling after training? Yeah. Well, Joe's in the chat. So if you want to go and ask him, you can go and ask him, mate. Travis, it's a bit interesting there. Poor Will Ashcroft. Hey fellas and Supercoach Devil, there you go. I think George also traded him out as well. Like, I understand now. See, the vest is the devil. There you go.
That video, that George video was hilarious. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but oh my god.
Is that his team review?
Oh yeah, it is the funniest video. Oh my god, he just rages the whole time. Just
I'll have to watch it after this. Oh man, there you go. There's my Monday figured out already. You weren't going to start Hill at 496. There you go. Supercoach Insider, how you going? I assume it's either Ben or Swizz. If you guys can send me a script and agenda for our pod, that'd be great. There you go. Any justification? Here you go. Big Baller Brand, how you going, mate? Death Riding Baz. Thinking of going Humphrey and Marek, fading Baz, then upgrade when we get DPP to Warner, Martin, etc. We'll go through the scores for each team, obviously. But is there a world where round 1, 170? Cool. Round 2, some people brought him in. He didn't play. Round 3, a lot of people said, hey, he might be out. Scores an 80 off no disposal efficiency. Like, my grandma could probably get more disposal efficiency in a game than him. Is there a world where we don't pick him? Like, can you guys really advocate, hey, if Baz is available at sub 400k, potentially a keeper in our forward lines, that we don't pick him?
I really want to palm this to God because based on previous conversations, he might be going down that road.
Yeah, no, I've had trades where I've had no Baz and Baz. So at the moment I've got Baz in there, but there is a chance that I do fade Baz and hold the horny man. But yeah, and then watch Baz if I do that, Baz will get a 120 and Hornet will get 70, and I'll have to do the trade anyway, and I'm not making any money off it. So I think I'm just gonna get Baz. I think it might be too risky. If you have 28 touches and however many 11 tackles or something, yes, he only went 80, but imagine if he had 20% more disposal efficiency. He would have gone 105 plus, and no one would have. You couldn't possibly say no to him. So yeah, I would try to avoid Death Riding Baz if I was you.
Oh yeah, 100% right. Like, it's pretty fair to say, as you're saying, if Baz had scored 90 to 95 to 100 plus last week, no one would be having this conversation. Like, hey, look, Baz scored a 170. That's probably his ceiling. Cool. He scored a 110. Cool. Like, it was just a poor effort last week. We're going on about Hewitt again. Come on, guys. Zeus, Bice is a necessity, potentially. Here you go. Joe, oh, mate, I wish you were here too. Numb to the pain now. Yeah, bloody Ashcroft. Just one of those painful ones. Marriott get death on top of the mid forward. You cannot have triple DPP. Otherwise, that would be funny.
TPP.
Yeah, mate, why not? We got the flex. Just have flex position as one of their positions on field, so they can just cover everywhere. Maybe they'll do that one day with utility players. Just be like, this guy plays a lot of everywhere. Cool, the coach can just have him cover everywhere.
Like a Jordan Dawson.
Yeah, it's a Mr. Fix-It spot.
Yeah, the Harry Sheasel. Sometimes he can play forward and then mid, and then he goes to the back line. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Thoughts on trading Clary to Rowell, guys? I personally have been very, very underwhelmed by Clayton Oliver to the point where potentially I'm considering getting rid of him. If you didn't have many problems left in your team and had all the good rookies, jumping on a Matt Rowell, I think he's only played 2 games, so he's still at juicy prices. Would you jump on him? 2-round average of like 130-ish, 135.
No. I don't know. Clary, I don't know what Clary is. What is Clary? Is he going to be this 85, 90 guy? Or is he going to pop out 120, 130s like he did last week? So I don't think we have enough data on Clary to be able to trade him out, to be honest. There's just not enough there. So I probably wouldn't be doing it now.
It's tricky. Like, if we saw Rao do this last season as well, where he had an amazing start and then like just dropped off completely. I didn't own Rao, but watching that was crazy. I've contemplated bringing him in as well with some moves, but I'm so worried that he just drops off like he did last season. I don't know if you have anything to add to that Clary to Rao discussion.
The thing about Clary is that he was the one that gave away that 50-meter penalty for just booting it along the ground, which was dumb. That cost him about 7 or 8 points. Melbourne being horrific probably cost him 5 or 6 points, which he's going to lose most weeks. But I'm pretty sure he butchered the ball as well, or had something like 7 clangers. And in the background there, I was just looking at Bailey Smith, and he somehow had 4 effective kicks out of 18 and 3 effective handballs out of 7. And his usual percentages is 52% and 84% for kick and handballs, respectively. So the numbers, him getting an 81 with like 22 and 30% each, there's like 40% improvement on both categories there. So even if you take away a couple of tackles that he had, he'll still be scoring 90 plus, which is top of the line for the forwards. And Clary, I just think that he'll be better.
Is he similar? Is he similar to a Max Gawn, where Melbourne are just shit at the moment, and you hope they get better, so you ride the wave, and then you're rewarded with them starting to pump out decent scores? Like, is it just a product of like Melbourne really suck at the moment? Like, I don't know what it is, forward line, midfield, whatever, but Melbourne sucks.
The Melbourne midfield got absolutely hammered. The fact that Matt Rowell beat everyone, or tied, I think, everyone in the clearances except for Harvey Langford out of Melbourne's midfield 5 is a big worry.
Yeah, as Joe says,
I think Oliver will
save their life. They've lost clearances every single week,
and they pay like $5 million for that midfield.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. As Joe says here, I struggle to defend Clary when it comes to Melbourne getting killed, because he himself was part of the reason they were. Well, there you go. Not too fun there. Clary to Rowell just went through that trading out. G-Bags, hey fellas. Thoughts on trading Patton and Lindsay? How you doing, G-Bags? To buy some Moraes. Other options that I'm considering are Trevelyan and Murphy Reid. Well, I think you can wait on Lindsay. Going to be out for a week, but then back the next week, hopefully. Trevelyan has only played 1 game, so we don't need to worry about him. You can bring in Murphy Reid. I think his job security is fairly safe, and they seem to like him. versus a Erasmus and stuff. So if Bice is named, probably get him in. Moraes definitely, and then probably Murphy Reed. I would almost consider as a. What do you guys think about grabbing someone who's already had one price rise, but you know is probably going to get to 350k? Would you rather risk that and not pick up a Moraes, or would you say, hey, I'm going to take it and say, I save a bit of money by getting the cheaper player. It's money in the pocket now versus potential later.
I'd probably like the Murphy Reed pick if it wasn't for the fact that Young, Fife are coming back.
DPP in 2 weeks too.
Yeah. That Young and Fife are coming back, as well as the fact that Bolton should be back to fitness. When Switkowski coming back soon as well. Mm-hmm. So you've got all that. Plus, also remember the fact that they do like to play Jackson as an on-baller at times, and Darcy's coming back as well. So they've got 3 or 4 guys returning into that team, and that starts to put a squeeze on spots. And if you start to think that maybe they use Caleb Sarong just slightly more forward because he's shown he can actually sort of play the Murphy Reed role, then I'm just a little bit worried that his job security, suddenly he becomes a sub-risk. And I would normally say it, that you'd go for Murphy Reed. I just don't like the circumstances that there's 4 guys returning.
No, fair enough. Big brawler brand. That's what I've done. There you go. Trading Doug Sheasel. Now, I'll talk about it a little bit in the North kind of team review, but yeah, Sheasel's an interesting one. Not sure if he's carrying something or if it's a case of some other people maybe taking job role from him as well. Maybe he's being forced to run a bit more, which is affecting everything else, or just taking a bit more attention as well, which I think definitely could be a possibility. We know how much of a gun he is, everybody. So, you got to start marking someone, I suppose. I think there was an article today talking about it as well. Do you go after LDU or Sheasel for James Jordan? So could be a bit interesting there. There you go. Baz is going 150 against Melbourne this week, hopefully. Trading out Rosie, Horn, Francis, and Short in Baz, Rowell, and Clark. Guys, what do you reckon? What do you guys think about Rosie? I'll tab that off the top as well. Speaking with Joe today, he thinks he might not be a keeper for the year. Do you guys think he will be? Do you like the trade?
I don't think Rosie was ever going to be a keeper for the year when we got him in. Like we got him in because Butters was out. I don't have Rosie because I had a different approach than I was going for cog number 2s as my midfield, and Rosie technically was cog number 1. First banana with Butters out, so I avoided him. But I definitely didn't see Rosie as a keeper, just more of maybe that stepping stone or that 105, maybe a 110 guy to help the start. I don't mind the trades because I think people are probably tossing up Rosie or the Horny Man given the tags coming up and the fixture starts getting a little bit annoying as well very, very shortly. I'd probably say at the moment I'd probably rather trade out Horny Man than Rosie just purely because of the attitude. Horn Francis has got a mad attitude on him and has a short temper, whereas Rosie seems to be a little bit more composed purely on that because it's drawing at straws otherwise. So I don't think it's bad. I don't know. Maybe Rao. Maybe you can pivot to someone else because like Rao has a real threat of dropping off. I love the Clark pick for Short. Love that, and I love getting Baz in. Like I don't mind going Horny Man to Baz and Short to Clark. I just don't know if it's worth going Rosie to Rao.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, can you move that to a rookie at that point? It's probably best because I would think there's probably a dud rookie somewhere in your line where you can maneuver that to a Bice or Moraes, who are both min price 113. So I think that's what you can do, even if it's something as simple as like Henderson to a Bice or a Moraes at that point. I think is a all right trade, or a Hewitt or something.
Yeah, I think with Rosie, he's always been that guy that drops these scores. So you kind of had to assume that one of these scores was going to come out at some point. So I'd keep the faith with Rosie. He'll probably bounce back this week and all will be fine. JHF on the other hand, he's concerned. He hasn't tonned yet. Like, it's ridiculous. And then, yeah, Short's still in my team. I want to get rid of him. I just don't know if I really can at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I like those trades. Just maybe instead of Rosie and Rao, yeah, just like what Kai said, just rookie to rookie, or just don't boost at all if you can avoid it. So, yeah,
Nice. Yeah, there's a reason exactly what you're saying about no tons at all from Horn Francis. That was kind of a big factor for me getting rid of him as well. Was just, hey, this is a week where almost every primo shit the bed, even like guys like Lockie Neal, who people aren't jumping off, but has had 2 crappy weeks as well. And we're talking about Rosie, who previous to this week, let me just quickly pull up his season stats.
it's averaging like 130 odd, 125.
128 week 1, and then a 130 week 2. So for him to have a poor week afterwards, in my head, it's excusable. It's more just about, does he cop Windhager next? Does he cop McGuinness the week after, and so on, which is probably the more deciding factor for me. But I've got worse players in the team. So maybe with some extra money, he can go up to a Dunkley or somebody. Marek is the better pick. There you go. Humphrey plays Crows at home, and then North and Richmond. He has had the same CBAs as Flanders this week, which is great news. Yet Flanders has come back, not stolen his points. Took dropped CBAs when Flanders came in. Humphrey B-Bear held the same role. I think Took Miller is Mr. Fix-It a little bit with Gold Coast. That's kind of the feeling that I've got with him, and seems to float around a little bit more. So maybe Humphreys is safe. Yeah, I trading Callahan for Saligo. Guys, are we done with Callahan now? Didn't score that well this week. Came off the bye. GWS tough game. Getting rid of him or not? Or keeping faith a little bit.
Keep the faith. And I was having cracks at bloody Kai and Rookie for telling me that Day was better than Callahan, and then all of a sudden Day smashed him. So that's a bit of karma for me. But yeah, no, hold the faith with Callahan. He'll be good. Didn't expect him to cop a tag, to be honest, but no, I think he'll be all right. Maybe the odd 50 might come into play, but look, he's still going to average around that 105 mark, I think. So I'm happy to keep the faith with him.
Yeah, he's got West Coast this week as well, which is like the second or third easiest matchup, I would say, in the whole game. So you shouldn't be trading him on that matchup. St Kilda next week, could they run a double tag on Green and Callahan? Will be interesting. But yeah, the West Coast matchup I wouldn't be trading on. But yeah, I'm in the background here just scrolling through trades, just doing random things at this point.
That's the way to go, man. Dumpster Dummy Humpty break even in -55. What's his price projection in 3 to 4 weeks? I think I saw something that if he scores around 100 for the next couple of weeks, it'll be 400k. So he looks pretty good. Benny Boy, glad to see you're on the Humph train. There you go. 2 of Marek, Humphreys, and Baz, guys. This is kind of the big question of the week at the moment. I would go Humphreys, Baz. You guys seem to be on the Marek train as well. I know God is looking like that.
Yeah, I'm Marriage Baz. I reckon we can almost put this question to bed now after this one, because I tell you what,
Baz is number 1, and then one of the other 2.
Look, if you want to get a player, probably Humphrey's got probably more ceiling scores in him, from what I would predict. But I think I just really like the Marriage role, so I'm gonna stick with Baz and Marriage.
Okay. Velo, only issue see here is Humphrey is, they've got everyone back, but they all played this week and he still scored well. So not too bad there. Here comes the get Jackson in then. Another sideways trade. Does he have the rolling engine to keep going? Well, it's an interesting one with Luke Jackson. If you had Luke Jackson to start the season, you'd be very, very happy. But I think, as you're saying here, probably not the great pickup now with Sean Darcy in the team. 3 games for a 353 total score. So he made almost half his score in 1 week. So it's not great in terms of scoring goes.
I mean, we saw this last year. We saw
definitely.
Darcy go down and we saw Jackson have some really good spike games. But when Darcy was consistently back into that, he regressed because he was playing his, full forward role. And he just dropped down to anywhere between 70s to 90s. And that, I mean, look, that's okay at some point, sure. But you're not bringing in Jackson because you think he's a top 6. I don't think we've seen anything different that suggests that he's regressed naturally or there's a role change. It's literally just a repeat of last year. And if you want to make sure that it's the right trade in, just go look at the stats of games with Darcy and without Darcy, and that will tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, definitely. There you go. Next 4 makes 120. Kieran Briggs next week is so free. Will be 470k playing at Norwood, going 140. There you go. Hizwa, 2011 for me this week with Armstrong -3. I think Skodfather had something similar as well. Had Armstrong on field -3 and then still cracked the 2k. So you've done very, very well there. Horn Francis, 50 odd quarter. And I could have done better if you converted that slot at the end. There you go. Daniel Green, how you going, mate? From round 1 flop and a big fuck up. There you go. To 3 boost deep and maybe over, unfortunately. Holding to this top 1k and the 2020 score this week helped. Yeah, it's an interesting one. There seems to be a camp like myself that's spent 9 trades in 3 weeks, and hopefully the team's kind of edged itself out. But yeah, at least you keep on with the top 1k. So you've done very well there. Mel teasing. Hi, fellas. Big game this week against the Blues. There you go. Very happy with my Supercoach side. Back on track 2008 this week. Small teasing. There you go. How did Keane not get suspended after his 5th tripping charge in 34 games? There you go. Bloody, oh, mate. This MRO, I tell you what, Paul Curtis, I think Nick Larkey all got tripping charges and fined. There was a few other things as well.
How did Keane? Oh my God, who was it that got it? Was it Ben Hobbs that got done for staging?
Yep.
And then
that was
Ben
bad.
Keane, and then Ben Keane just does something that every single soccer player has done in every 3 games in the EPL, and just gets a little nudge, and then 3 seconds later falls to the ground. Like that, you're giving bloody Ben Hobbs a staging fine or whatever for getting hit by Rosie's knee, and then he's not getting staging fines. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty. And the Hobbs one was actually like properly there as well. The guy just being tackled and like thrown on the ground, and it's like, oh, nah, sorry, you get charged and no one else does. It's MRO is a bit of a joke at the moment. Maybe we should do an anti-MRO segment on the show. What do you guys think? Every week we just go through the MRO and we can bring back this one. It's just a shame. Where is it? Is it on here? Maybe it's not on here. Oh, we don't have Joe versus the MRO. We'll figure it out. Joe trading Ashcroft reminds me of Marshall last year. There you go. Hippo last night was funnier versus George's tirade. So maybe I'll have to rewatch that as well. How much does this Lindsay trade hurt? Now, Lindsay's an interesting one. I assume we've gone through Humphrey, Marrick, and whatnot. I assume that we're on the keep Lindsay train unless you probably have to, right? So we can kind of skip through those a little bit. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I don't see why. Like the role was there, the consistency was there. Like, yeah, you've got like Bice and Moraes. Moraes dropped to 52 as well. Bice also had a sub game, but Lindsay, on the other hand, has gone back to back in that role for us. It looks like Melbourne need him. Like, Melbourne are in absolute shambles at the moment, and they played better with him in the side. I think that's very, very clear. So I have no issues holding Lindsay. I mean, they said he could have played, like, he could be playing this week, but they're probably going to take a 2-week approach. So he'll be back next week. He'll easily bypass that. I think it's like a 28 or 20-ish break even. So he'll bypass that. He'll kickstart his cash gen again, and you'll be good to go. So if you can, hold on to him. I don't feel like if you want Moraes in and Lindsay's the one to trade out, I don't think you do it.
Yeah, definitely. It screams a little bit for myself, the people that obviously different price point, but the people that have traded out Reed and or Trainer, and then now they've popped out a 90 each. It's a few people doing that too. If you guys want to rant, check out Hippos. There you go. George has drawn the Scod Hippo Rage trade video clan. Hey, maybe we should do that too. That'd be fun. Do we trade him or out? Keep him if you want, but he's going to drop even further in cash. My grandma could get more of a chance of Flynn playing this week. There you go. I wish Baz missed one more game so we could get him before the bubble. There you go. Yeah, it's an interesting one. And that's what I said before, right? About in my team review, I was like, I think we've been blessed to the point where we have to pick him this week because everything has just been cool. Can't pick him, haven't been able to afford him. He's not played. Cool, that's it. 2031 this week. Happy face. Thank you very much. Nice work. Lindsay's 9 at flex. I had it as well. Reed's 106 stuck on the bench. Could have been a massive score. It would only given me an extra 26 points, but would have been nice. Definitely. Aero, evening, gents. How we all going, fellas? Done. Anyone jumping off Shees? I think a lot of the community might be as well. Seen a few sideways to Sinclair's at comparable price at the moment and probably a little bit better in terms of scoring for right now. She's gone. I wish Daniel wasn't mid forward, so he could have had defensive forward. Yeah, Bevo was fantastic and let Daniel come to North, but then screwed us over with the defensive. Oh, what is that? Forward mid. So it kind of sucks there. But he's perfect because it's nice to have some DPP players as well. Thinking of going Foz, Horn, Francis, and Patton to buy some Marek. Thoughts? Seems to be okay. Yeah.
Oh, look at it. That's better than okay. That's a game-winning trade.
Well, I'm doing like the same trades, but instead of Patton, it's Camporelli. So that's what I've got at the moment.
Do you think he keeps Camporelli?
I don't know. It's either otherwise I'd just go Foss if Camporelli gets named, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to hold Foss because I feel like there's just a spike game coming, and he's just continuously scored 40s for me. So
I can't wait till we're another 3 weeks in, and he hasn't gone past 50 again.
He hasn't gone. He won't even go over 250k. Like it's ridiculous.
Feels a little bit like Horn Francis in his first year, where he had like one good game and everyone had started him, and then like slowly it started going backwards and backwards and backwards. It's like, oh, do we keep him? Oh yeah, it's coming, but it never really came. Yeah. Should have gone Sinclair over Dale, mate. I should have gone Sinclair over Whitfield last week. Will be top 4, whereas Dale maybe top 8. Yeah. A lot of us survived the Dale and Frieja. A lot of those people kind of went back to earth last week, guys.
Dale got absolutely kissed.
About the only thing I did right.
Man. I'm sick of not owning these players that are on 20 or 30 at half time and then somehow end up getting an okay score. Like just get a bad score, honestly. Like give me some bloody reward for not picking these players.
Yeah, it's like me and Horn Francis last week. Just be like, 34, 50-point quarter, get stuff.
It's like Zorko the first 2 weeks. Like he had such a bad score at half time. It was like 35, and then he ends up with a 130 plus score every week. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was me with Zorko on the weekend, and with Whitfield matching him at the same time, and Whitfield's like 40 points ahead the whole way through, and then Zorko just goes off in the last quarter or something like that. And I think he also would he kick a goal in the last quarter that put them near enough in front or something like that, and it was like a 15-point goal or 20-point goal, and I was just like, thank you.
Yeah, that's how it works. Supercoach is a pain. Cool. G Bags, thank you very much, mate. Thoughts on McCluggage, Dawson, and Chad Warner as a future trade-in options given Neil's poor start? Also got 33 trades with 230k in the bank, only 1 boost used. Nice. Is this a good position to be in? I think position-wise, it's fantastic. So good kind of start there. What do you guys think about future-proofing a little bit, considering the likes of Chad Warner may get DPP?
I mean, if you have a really, really underperforming primo that you just don't think is going to score well, I don't hate it getting in a Chad Warner now, but Chad Warner might even go down in cash and you might be able to get him cheaper. Like, his break even's 132. He does have North this week, so he might go massive. And then he always goes big against Collingwood. So, actually, I don't hate it. He actually could have a really good next 3 games. He's got Port after that. So, he's got a really good fixture for midfields. So, I actually wouldn't hate getting into Chad Warner this week.
He's going to cop Perryman, you would expect, and Drew, I would expect, out of the midfielders, because you're probably tagging him over Heaney at the moment. So that'll be interesting to see. It's trying to avoid the tag and get the players that aren't going to cop it. That's the big question at the moment.
It sucks so much. Like,
there's too many taggers.
I want my players not to score 50s anymore.
Depends. We don't even know what Perryman's role is. Like, it's the most unknown role in football. I don't understand it. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I think Clary is just underwhelming because Melbourne is underwhelming. Well, there you go. Pick 3 out of SPP, Camporelli, Nevitt, Stone, Sardis, and Hewitt. I assume he means to trade. So, yeah, to trade out. So, there's a bit of a talk about SPP at the moment potentially being okay. If he did not have the game that he had last week and ended up on like an 80, I would be much more happy to keep him. But I feel like he may get stuck again just doing the same type of thing. So for me, it's him out. I'm even in the camp of dropping Nevitt at the moment, and maybe like a Hewitt, but you assume he might not be sub. Who's your 3 guys?
I reckon SPP is probably. He's made some cash and his break even's not horrible, but I still think it's a stressful own. So he's probably at the top of the list to get out. I mean, Camporelli, it's really annoying because it's one of those ones where you're not really making cash. It's just a straight sideways for a rookie, which is annoying, but you'd rather get out of the way now. So he's probably up there. And then probably I can't make my mind up between Stone and Hewitt. Stone's been consistent and hasn't been sub, whereas Hewitt has. So I'd probably say Hewitt. That's my 3rd.
I'd probably say, I don't know. I haven't owned SPP all year, so I know what he scored and stuff. I'd probably hold him for now. I think there's just no point in trading in a player for 180k and then just trading him out because he's only made 20k or something. So may as well hold him. Hope he has a spike game. He's a forward, so he's gonna have those random spike games, and those games he gets like 30 or 40. So just hold the faith with him. Campo's difficult. It's difficult to really speak on Campo. We can't really answer that until team sheets. I expect he'll probably come back. I think he'll come back because, look, Carlton went very good again.
No.
So
Vossi's going to be throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks at this point.
Yeah, I was chatting with I was in Pommy's stream or whatever about it, and I just said watch Voss drop like it was like Francis Evans or something like that, and not even drop any of the guys like Hollands. Why did they put him at half back? He's a winger. Like, he's just not a good ball user. I just don't know what he's done with half that team. And Camporelli wasn't even that bad in the first. Was good in the first game. Got subbed out 3/4 time in the second game. Was it roughly around that time on like a 30 or so? He was fine. Like, it was. He needs to make some big calls and do something. Vossi else. He could be cooked in another. I mean, they've got Collingwood. They're going to. Collingwood could put him on.
Probably going to beat him.
Put 30, 40 on them there. Like, they could lose by 7-8 goals to Collingwood there.
Don't say
And then
that.
they have West Coast.
No, don't say that because you say that and then we're going to freaking lose. Don't say that.
Here comes
Don't
the jinx.
stop. Yeah, stop. You know how Dan Gorringe does those halftime videos, and he like says how they're going to win the bloody flag, and then they end up losing. So I don't want to hear this crap. But anyway, I don't think you trade out Nevitt. I think Nevitt's sub was a 1 week thing. I hope.
Yeah, we kind of wait till team sheets, don't we?
Exactly.
And the good thing about it is you've got Collingwood Carlton on the Thursday, you've got Geelong Melbourne on the Friday, so that kind of sorts out 3/4 of this mess already before the weekend and before a lot of the other games. I feel the thing about Stone is he's got the job security more than I feel like Camporelli, even Nevitt and Sardis and Hewitt. So I just feel like his ball use and his clangers, if he can just like, even if he has to do a Luke Ryan and just kick it backwards or just boot the heck out of the ball, he's going to have a 90 game in there in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like. And there's no one coming back unless you want Joe Fonte or whatever for GWS. So I think he's safe.
Not fair. Sorry. Does Raul have new contract smash him theory? I think Raul has new coach smash him theory a little bit. They want to make finals, and he's a massive cog to do that for them. Clary will be okay against teams that don't move the ball fast. Melbourne too slow. Yep, that's the problem with them dropping guys like James Jordan and a few others over recent years. Jaden Hunt unfortunately was a bit of a miss for them as well, and yeah, start to drop out a few of these players, and you hope the kids go well, and that's kind of what happens. Melbourne midfield will come good. Clare will come good. Hold. Risky to jump off Sheasel and bring in home Sinclair. Nah, I don't mind it. He'll be very cheap in a couple of weeks, so maybe you jump on later. Worried about Moraes if Butters comes back. You go Moraes or Bice. I think a few of us are on. I like Bice. A few of us on the Moraes train as well. Bit 50-50. 104 is in for 3 weeks, though, for Reed. Yeah. Gone Shees to Sinclair. Horn Francis to Jackson and Flynn in flex to Humphreys. I don't mind it. Probably don't jump on Luke Jackson, though, because Sean Darcy should be back. So unless you hear something this week that says, hey, he's going to be out, probably not the best jump on him. Rosie's not a top 8 mid. There you go. If Butters is back this week, it helps Rosie, I think. I think so as well. Surely he's the one. If you've got both and you're an opposition team, surely you tag Butters and not Rosie, right? Or do you think, hey, go after Rosie, Butters might be and not, but maybe not 100%?
I actually wouldn't be surprised if they tag Horn Francis this week.
Okay.
Windhager seems like a better matchup for Horn Francis than he does for Rosie and Butters. So I don't know. Just keep an eye on that.
Do you think they say, well, our mids are going to tackle your mids, so we'll go face-to-face with those and then we'll figure out the rest after?
Yeah, well, I don't hate like a McRae on Rosie matchup. Like I feel like McRae you can back him into take on Rosie. I don't know. Is Steele back this week?
You'd assume so.
Yeah, I'd back Steele against Butters. Butters might be a bit quicker, but yeah, I'd back him against Butters. So yeah.
Yeah, Windhager's tagged Butters before in the last matchup, but obviously Butters returning from injury, that'll be interesting. Does he even get up this week is another question. I mean, I looked at the last injury report, said 2 to 4, but there was positive signs or whatever. I felt like I saw it somewhere. Miller, Neil, Butters. It feels like Windhager's gonna go to the smaller guys. Like he's done Taranto, Holmes, Butters, Neil, Miller, even Harley Reid, Sarong. So he's kind of done both the impact and the contested possession smaller guy. I think he's still, if Butters is there, you go Butters and you basically say if we can win it on the inside, we can beat you with Steele and others. Like Steele, with Rosie, he's either copying Windhager or Steele, which is still almost horrific either way.
Yeah. I actually tend to agree with God here. I think Windhager goes to more the horny man, which is probably what puts him in the firing line to be evicted from the island of what is my team. Because I don't want to. But like, there's all chances that Windhager tries Rosie or Butters if Butters is back, and then Horn Francis goes off chain. That's a very much a real reality, and it scares me either way. So I'd rather not have to scare and just get like a Baz in who's going to go nuts at GMHBA against a really poor-looking Melbourne. So,
fair. Just ploughing through a few more of these questions, guys, and then we'll get into the round review that was. Sounds mad to trade Rosie. There you go. Done Rosie to Whitfield, Flynn, and Moraes, and brought in Patton to Bice. Okay. I think Whitfield is probably, speaking with DR and stuff last night, Coach, I really reckon Whitfield is probably a must-have heading into the next couple of weeks. So an okay pick up there.
Yeah, I don't. If you're going from Rosie and you're going up, I don't think you can get much better than like a Whitfield or a Sinclair, because you're going from someone that maybe a top 8 mid at best to someone who's going to be probably top 4 in their line. Whitfield's got, what's he got? West Coast and Rich, or West Coast St Kilda from memory. Let me have a quick check. But otherwise, like Whitfield, these next 2 games. So he currently has, he's got West Coast this week, then he's got Saints the week after. Like, if you go, and this is like bubble as well, don't forget not bubble for Lockie, but I don't know. Enough. I feel like he's going to go nuts in these next 2 games, and then he starts generating that into his price cycle, and then he might become unattainable like Sinclair might.
Yeah, he probably should have gone nuts against Hawthorn as well, but got stuck at 100 points for basically a quarter. So Rosie had one bad week. Hey, lads, talk me out of Horn Francis, Short and Shees to Baz, Whitfield and Sinclair. I will not. That seems pretty good. So I will not talk you out of that. Just hope the rest of your cash gen looks good. I don't mind it. Adios, Horn Francis. There you go. Horn Francis needs to go before Rosie. Agree. How you going, Yaron? Howdy, everyone. Best start to the season in ages. Top 700. Congratulations, mate. So much confusion regarding trades. Have a great stream. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Great start to the season. Dale, Richards, and Flynn into Sinclair, Whitfield, and Moraes. I don't mind it. I don't think Flynn's coming back. So nice to use the money there. Who are the dead rookies at the moment, guys? Anyone who's basically scored a 20 could definitely be a dead rookie for us. So it's not one to kind of assess with your team. Callahan, minimum 120 this week, potentially. What was the injury with Cherry? Maybe we'll do this one as last, and then we'll go through the rest of the questions after the team sheets. Cherry had some hamstring awareness. I'm going to say awareness is the right word. Was sore, was grabbing it, but played out the entire game, has had scans, and he should be okay. So, yeah, he's a tough bugger there. Guys, we are going to go through the team sheets now. Oh, no, what happened there? Why is it not working? Aha, there you go. First game of the week. Let's go. Maybe I'll do this one first. St Kilda versus, Port Adelaide versus Essendon. Essendon came out on top, 72-60. Definitely was a bit of a slog. If Essendon could kick straighter, they'd be a lot better. 18 behinds is probably the reason why Jace Burgoyne went massive. I don't know if you've got the kick-out stats there. No, we might have it in DFS normal, but yeah, Burgoyne went massive, was playing half-back for them. Just kick-out merchant, similar to Bergman, where the ball was just in that back line. Dersma, Mason Redmond, and Durham probably not really relevant. Next one down is Zach Merritt. There's probably, let's be honest, there's one player probably out of the Essendon team that's super relevant, Supercoach-wise for this game. That was Zach Reid. So if anyone had jumped off Zach Reid, unfortunate. We knew these type of spike games were coming, especially with him basically being a best 22 player. And we'll go over Luke Traynor later on as well, being a similar case. So, yeah, if you've got Zach Reid, you had him on field. I had him at sub or flex, emergency, whatever you want to call it. And then Roberts came on field. I got Reed's score. So very, very happy with there. Sard, fantastic game. First off, only scored the 16. But definitely looks like he's going to be best 22. Did quite well. Kako with the 62 as well. So slowly trudging along. Just unfortunate that he had the elevated price point. So I think at the moment he's only gone up 20K, which isn't great. Now he's the same price or a little bit cheaper than Murphy Reed, who's outscoring him by quite a lot. So a bit of a rough one there. That's probably about it. Tom Edwards got subbed out, so didn't really score that well either. Heading over to Port Adelaide, a little bit more relevant in terms of Supercoach-wise. A few people have Burgoyne potentially moving down the list. Moraes definitely did very, very well. I almost felt like during the game, guys, that he was a bit of the unsung hero. I didn't see him do very high impactful things, but he was definitely there all the time. Fantastic disposal efficiency for a first-year rookie as well. So definitely one of his strengths. Didn't have a huge game. I mean, it's 27 touches, but going at 85% is great. Miles Bergman with the 92 as well. Jordan Sweet, if you've got him in your team, I think he outscored half the competition with a 92. So could work out there for a sub 500K ruckman. Kane Farrell, let's quickly check, took a heavy clash knock, ended up on an 86. So probably nothing there to worry about too much. Horn Francis 82. We've covered a little bit before about the 50-point quarter as non-owner. I was very happy to see him on 30s at three-quarter time and then finish on 82. Not so good. Sin with the 80. And then probably the next relevant one is Connor Rosie, 64. So it felt like he got tagged basically the entire game. Not great disposal efficiency at 60 or 59%. Not a huge amount of touches either. Unwieldy kick to handball ratio as well. So I'm not sure if he took a bit of a hit or just got the ball and tried to get rid of it, but that's what it felt like a little bit with him. So yeah, not so great. Pal Pepper was probably the last one on the list that we're going to talk about. I mean, we've got Logan Evans kind of shit dead, but that's all right. Pal Pepper was on track. I think he was close to 50 points at halftime or three-quarter time from memory, guys, and then got up to like 80. And I was like, yeah, Pal Pepper scored an 80, rewarded similar to last week. And then slowly, his points started going down, gave away a free kick. I think it might have turned into a 50. And then just poor disposal efficiency, couldn't get into it, had a bit of a head knock as well. And yeah, a bit unlucky for us owners. Rough game. Nice to see Essendon win for Joe, but definitely a rough game.
Just quickly, Jackson Pryor as well.
Oh yes,
he played quite well. He was getting plenty of ball and plenty of opportunities to be one of those main players to get it out of that defensive line. I saw a bit of kick to kick between Pryor and Reed, and I was very happy with that. So he also played well, and he's now got that score in his system for another 2 weeks. So pretty good.
Yeah. Definitely cemented himself in the team as well, which I think has been one of his issues. Marias did enough to pass the eye test. There you go. Just an observation, not Essendon or Port Adelaide supporter, but God, that game was hard to watch. Yeah, it was definitely a slog. Definitely a slog. SPP was smashed and gassed, but he looked like he was going to score well. Oh, someone's microphone is going to be on to the next game. Who's up next, fellas?
We'll give it to God. Give us the Blues.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, I think I might have said last week if they don't beat the Dogs, then they might beat the Pies. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Somehow Brody Kemp kicked 5. I don't know how you don't stop Brody Kemp from kicking 5. That's a bit embarrassing, to be honest. TDK, look, his score was 142 before scaling, and then just got absolutely murdered in scaling and got -9 off it. So he was my captain as I VC'd Rosie. So yeah, pretty happy with it regardless. George Hewitt, I'm not going to speak about him because there's getting too many comments about him, so I'm not even going to talk about him. Shearer, just look, lowest score of the year for his price. You take it every day of the week. I think you just on to the next week. Really, definitely wouldn't bring him in, but yeah, he's one of the better mid-price midfielders for sure. Cripper, I mean, yeah, I don't know, just not really a player we tend to start. Some people, I know a few people that did, but yeah, you wouldn't be too happy with this 84. Only 21 touches from Cripper, and I don't think he's done that. He's gone under 25 in about the last 10 games, so yeah, a bit concerning. Who else do we have here? Is that about it?
No one else really relevant from the Blues.
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Chera did get stuck on bench for a horrendous amount of time as well.
Oh, yeah, in clutch time as well. Yeah, so that should be fine. Anyway, Dogs. Libba. Geez, he would have been a nice pot option, I think. So he's 133. He was clearly, I thought, best on ground.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what his average is now, but break even of 78 at his price is pretty damn good. So you'd be pretty happy if you picked him up. Actually, I don't know if that's Supercoach break even or not. That might be fantasy. Sam Davidson, 31 touches. What an absolute beast. I mean, this guy's just going to save us this year with cash gen, I think. I mean, he could go to 450k, maybe, probably not actually, maybe 400. I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, he played really well. He just knows what spots to be in at all times. So yeah, couldn't be any happier with that. Sam Darcy looks like he was a really good pot option. I don't know if he was a pot option per se. He might have been like 6 or 7%, but yeah, he was a really good pick if you started him. Props to you if you did. Tim English, he's just a bit of a bloody spud this year, so wouldn't be going near him. Maybe a cheeky post-buy move after that first buy he has, and maybe you just hope he goes well. Matt Kennedy, wouldn't be touching him. Richards, I mean, you'd be disappointed, but I think he'll be fine. I think Richards would be one of the least of your worries in your Supercoach team at the moment, so I wouldn't worry about him. Sanders, of course, he's come good. So 24 and a goal. Started this guy. Yeah, of course he's come good now. So I trade him out after round 1, so it doesn't hurt as bad as if I trade him after round 2. But no, it's all right. He can do what he wants. He's a spud. Bailey Dale, we've spoken on him. I mean, just a bit bailed out, to be honest. Not much more to say on him. He's just good in the last quarter, and it's just annoying every single week if you don't own him. But yeah, if you picked him up, you still wouldn't be happy. Fraser, 68. Kind of saw this coming. I kind of saw this being a bit of a trap pick. So I didn't go there, but I think a lot of people in the community did. So just rookie. It's just unlucky, really. I mean,
I broke the fridge.
Yeah, it's just unlucky, really. He could be better next week. I don't know, but yeah, probably not. He's definitely. I wouldn't trade him out just yet. Maybe.
I don't know. He had a 1-day temporary visit card for me. He might be out the door already.
Oh, it reminds me of Tom Stewart.
Yeah.
Who else do we have here? Not really anyone else.
I don't think so.
No, I think we're good there.
Easy. I'll take the next game. Look, this game was something else.
I'd maybe watching your loves Englishman. Richards got less CBAs as Matt Kennedy revenge game potentially. Davidson, rookie keeper, looks very, very good. Love Daniel Gorringe and his blue hair. There you
How
go.
Oh, it's hilarious. Oh my
How
god.
good. You mean Richmond? You mean Lil Rich?
Yeah.
Lil Rich
Yeah, I
blue
heard someone
hair
call
now?
him. I heard someone call him Little Daniel Rich.
Oh, what a cracker. Look, I think we all just saw Gold Coast absolutely wash Melbourne at home too at the MCG. I'm fairly sure. So that was honestly just really disappointing because it seems as if when Melbourne are overall bad as a team, all their primos are actually bad. So we're not going to spend too much time on Melbourne because we'll get a bit sad. But Bowie, a surprising one. Some people may have been looking at him as a potential option around the fridge price point of a failed mid-pricer. Seemed to have scored well with May last season, but there was obviously concerns with May coming back that they might drop. Didn't seem to worry him at all with the top score of 116. If you jumped on him, absolutely the round to have a move like that play in your favor. We've now seen Rivers now pop out of nowhere and do a 101, something we would have loved to see all of the start, like, you know, what we were hoping for at the start of the season from him. And now he's just come and done it. Gone in 88. What is going on with this man? We brought him in for the matchup against Keith, and I feel like Keith got the better hand there and, you know, just got the win. He kicked the final goal. Like, it's I'm not sure what is happening with Gawn. When we saw the 88 initially, we were like, oh, goodness, because I'm a Gawn owner, and it's been a rough ride. What's Cherry going to get? Cherry actually scored, pre-scaling, 1 point less. And then someone over at Champion Data decided we can't have him score less than Gawn. Let's give him a 2-point scale up. So someone's playing tricks over there at Champion Data. Langford, first full game, I think, from an AFL perspective, not a sub, and just absolutely put the blinders on. I dare say was probably one of the best on ground for Melbourne. Very athletic. Hopefully maintains a spot. Just hard to go there at his price tag, given you've got Moraes and Bice to also consider getting in. So not sure if you go there. Maybe if you want to back him in, by all means. I don't think it's a bad pick. I just think at the price you can get those much better options. Oliver, I mean, we can't get a read. We see, you know, peak form Oliver last week with a 130, and then we see last season's Oliver with an 80. I don't know what to do with him. I want to hold him because I hope he's going to be well, but he actually looked like Oliver from last season last week, and it scares me because I was on that ride and I wanted to hop off, but I was strapped in. It was that death ride.
Maybe it's just one of those things where he just gets he's going to get a 130 1 week and an 80 another. Like, it's just going to be that roller coaster ride. He's just going to take us on. But yeah, we need more data. We definitely need more data to see to have a look before we make any rush decisions.
For sure. I don't think it's trade out by any means necessary, but just one to really keep an eye on. Definitely one that you want to do an eye test on each week. I feel. And I did see a comment. Pin or Gawn?
Yeah, who's better?
We're not even
Flynn or Gawn.
Genuinely, Flynn could be better just because he's not losing cash and you have the ability to move him.
He's not losing cash and it's best 18.
Genuinely.
It's glorious.
If it wasn't for not turn up this weekend, it could be he could have been on fire.
And he's coming back this week. I'll speak about that soon.
My goodness. Yeah, guys, get prepared. We're going to have like another Flynn's Diaries corner section coming up. So
He
didn't even play.
I'll do it during the West Coast game this time.
Oh, thank goodness. Just keep it to like 10 minutes this time, not 20, all right? Look, anything else? Like, Track is probably the only other person that we're really looking at. We're a bit worried with his current form. What's Goodwin doing? Is he going to get forward DPP? Like, he's not spending enough time forward to really be confident in getting the forward DPP status. But from an owner perspective, if you have him, you want him getting bulk mid-time, which he's currently not necessarily getting. It's just, it's a cluster over there at the moment. it's a scary hold if you have track considering what you paid, but hopefully things change. Outside of that, we had Lindsay, who obviously went down quite early. Good news is that he will be back at 2 weeks maximum from reports coming out of the club. So he's,
probably
in my
next week.
opinion, probably coming in next week. So definitely a hold, in my opinion, just given the role. And we've seen enough to know what he's capable of. Johnson, probably a bit of a letdown if you had him. Looking at you, Big J. Just a 31.
Not
Unfortunate.
happy.
And another unfortunate one, which I really can't get a read on, is Henderson. Just didn't seem to get around the ball as much as he did. I think I feel like it's one of those cases where when the team plays well, they score well. When the team plays bad, they score badly. So, yeah, it's a tricky one for Melbourne. Hopefully they can turn it around, but not against my boys. Give them one more week of being in shambles so Geelong can get up on a good run, and we'll be good.
There you go.
Gold Coast is the one that I think has some really strong relevancy. We've got Rao, Scott's old weapon, dusts himself off the shelf and has gone absolutely nuts. And Corey, yes, Langford was the rising star, and he deserved it for sure. He actually played out of his skin. I think Gorn owners I think we're coping a little bit, saying he's going to be fine, but given the age, it could be the downfall we've been waiting on. I think Joe should have faded him. I think he knows that.
Yeah. Maybe. It's not last year with the bodgy knee.
Yeah. So Rao, really interesting one. You trade into him. What's he going to do? Is he taggable? It's one to watch. I don't like bringing him in, even though he's done really well, simply because if we've seen the data before, like last season, he does really well for like the first 5-6 weeks, and then he absolutely drops off. And that's where like Anderson probably becomes a bit more consistent. The consideration is Rao is actually looking fitter and more athletic than last year, and it's just I saw him many times just tuck the ball under his arm and just go and just run, and no one was catching him, which is really fun football to watch. It's really intense. But hey, if you want to take the risk on Rao, by all means, I think it's great. Just be well aware that I think he's averaging over a 130 at the moment. It's not, you're not going to be able to sustain that. So there will be a drop off.
Do we think that Rao might get tagged over Anderson now? Is there potential for that? Because
who's matching him though?
Can you tag him?
Well, I don't know if you can tag him, but you got to try. I mean, they've tried on all the star midfielders in the past. Some it just doesn't work on. So
I think they'll try. I think there'll be a tag attempts for sure. But then Anderson's going to go off the chain. Like I think they're going to have to pick one or two, and the other person is just going to go off chain if they're going to do tags.
The perfect matchup would be Windhager, actually. To be fair,
You would, yeah. I when you think of taggers, you think Windhager would probably be like the best person to run with him, or to try to at least. But we definitely see Anderson, which is our next man, who's probably more of the tag target, more commonly from their side, which has always been the concern. And it's also part of that spike roller coaster that we had with Anderson last season as well. He gives you really big spike games when he goes off chain, but he can give you some quiet ones. But Anderson looks much more consistent this year already, which is absolutely solid. I expected a bit more from him this week, I will say. But otherwise, looked great. Who else have we got? We've got Miller, Luke Miller. Mr. Forward DPP, by the sounds of it, could be a solid forward option for us to lock in, along with the likes of Chad Warner. Noble, making himself well at home in the Gold Coast Suns. So I don't know if he's really relevant, but definitely one to watch. And then we get into Humpty, a 111. He's definitely put everyone on watch to get him in. Can he be a replacement for Baz? Can you just bring him in with Baz and make some moves to get another rookie off field? Is he a flex? Who I think we've had a fair bit of discussion already tonight just on, Marek versus Humpty. I think we've seen enough where if you've got the cash and you want to take a little bit of risk, go there. I don't see any issues going there. It's with Richmond and North in the system over the next 3. I feel like it's probably going to, there's enough reward to outweigh the risk in my opinion. Who else is relevant here?
Uh,
We'll touch on Flanders a little bit because it was a very quiet 71. I do believe that they're probably working him back into full match fitness and endurance with that, which I will raise as a potential concern with Humpty is
67 time on ground.
Yeah, so time on ground was 67. So I do believe this will go up to the standard 80-ish mark. And when that happens, we'll probably most likely see a regression in Humpty being that fourth banana, a part of that midfield, maybe dependent on where Tuke's spending most of his time. I'll quickly get up the CBAs just so we have a really good understanding of what actually happened in that game. So Anderson had 83, Rouse 76, Miller only had 28%, and then Flanders and Humpty split it evenly with a 41% each. So I expect that we will most likely see a shift there when the match fitness of Flanders does come back into full swing. So definitely one to watch, but it could be a slow progression just considering the interrupted preseason. But hey, if you're bringing in Humpty to make the cash, I think it's going to be a pretty solid plan. Any notes, boys, on this game before we move along?
No, nothing else that you haven't covered. Sucks for the people who brought Ethan Reed in. Probably about the big thing. Yeah, not great.
Not great. Definitely when you compare it to the likes of Archer Reed. All right. Bye.
Oh, you've given me the juicy matchup, or at least one team that I can spend probably 5 minutes alone on. Sinclair. Wow. I think I mentioned something, or at least it might have been after the Monday. It might have been Tuesday, Wednesday, or something. Mentioned the Sinclair when. Am I getting feedback there? Anyway, Sinclair, when he gets 0 CBAs, especially in Supercoach, it's like legitimately dumb the scoring that he goes. I think it's 119 and 0.6 now on 29 games. 26 tons, lowest score of a 78. Like, that's primo midfielder type numbers there for a defender. I think it would be higher than Sheasel last year or near enough the numbers there. And he's priced at like the 7th best defender. So he's going to get away quick if there's consideration now that he actually gets the tag over a genuine midfielder, or you have to run a defensive forward there just because he's that good at it. And I mean, what was his, I don't know if anyone can bring up while I'm talking his disposal efficiency, but it felt like he just went at like 90% or something dumb like that. Then you get McRae, who gets to a 120 through a tag for 3 quarters or so.
Went 85.
Yeah, 85%. That's just too good. But yeah, McRae, he was outstanding as well. And one thing that I really like about McRae, obviously, is that he's going to rack it up. But I think I want to say he's probably averaged about now across the 3 games, 12 tackle and marks per game, I would say probably roughly. I know he had, was it 8 marks and 11 tackles last week for the 150 odd. So yeah, I think he's just a guy that he has so many avenues to score that he's just going to be F1. We all talked about Baz and stuff like that, but McRae, he got tagged to a 120. Mason Wood, he'll have some of these games, but no. Rowan Marshall, he's a guy that is coming to my plans around that round 8 to 10 marker. Just when Gorn, I feel like I want to just give him an extra month here because I think he starts to turn Gorn, but Marshall is poking his head and he's waving his hand at me and saying, please come and pick me. Because when Marshall plays solo ruck, he's the best scoring ruckman in the comp, pretty much. Wanganeen Malira, I put my hand up and said that he was going to be a guy to really score well. And then Sinclair said no and slapped my hand back down, basically. Wanganeen Malira is still going to be top 8 pretty consistently, but he's not going to have the spike scores that Sinclair has the potential of. I think Wanganeen Malira is going to be your most comfortable 85 to 120, 95% of the games that he plays. He's going to get the points through kick-ins. He's going to get those like 6 or 7 point kick-ins where he just bombs it in a set play or something like Sicily does. And he's going to find his way to a 110 on pretty good efficiency. And then Garcia. I feel like my nemesis for this year is going to be the sub rule, because Garcia only went out of my side last week because of the sub that he had, and now he's finally playing, and he's gone, and what's he gone, 99? And he was on, what was it, boys, about 40 in the first 5 minutes. He just went bang, 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 and had like 3 marks, 3 tackles just like that. So obviously his role is going to change with Steele coming back. He's going to go down to the 4th or 5th in the midfield, but that was a just outstanding game from a youngster. Scrolling down the list more, you had Hall at 85, is it? Yeah, 85. He did his job there at 85, and he's going to make cash. He's going to be one of those guys that is going to probably, I'd say, top out at about 270, 280, because he's going to have those 30 games that stall his cash gen. But for a 113 or 117 guy, that's perfect. Toby, we can wait a week and figure this out next week, but he had a good start. And then Hasty, for those guys that just didn't... he looked like a red dot. I hope people didn't get suckered into having captaincy on him and then 10 minutes beforehand he comes out and is named. Yep. But I don't see a way back into the side for him, even with O'Connell, because I think that's a straight swap with Stocker, because they were both interchanging concussions, I want to say. And then basically Richmond, it's just going to be Nankervis or the rookies. I'm just going to put it straight out like that. So I don't think Taranto's... I think I don't think he's going to have enough market share, I think is what's going to happen with Richmond. They're going to have like 1,300 most games, and I don't think he's going to do enough to get up the big scores. We can skip over all the guys that have hamstring injuries, I swear, from Richmond. Surprising Presti is not playing. Short, I feel like he struggled. He limped, let's put it, his way to a 90 against, I would argue, the best halfback matchup in the whole competition. So I'm finding ways. I would be more happy to trade out Short than I would be Horn-Francis at this point, just because of top-end scoring. And then the rookies, Trainer, 90, that came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. And kind of sucks when you're so happy about a Pryor 78 on your bench, and then you see Trainer 90 outscoring some of your mid-prices. So that sucked, but it's really good for the cash gen, because the midfield cash generation is stalled, I feel like. And then Layla, I think, is just a first-year Jason Horn-Francis, basically, and is not going to do outstandingly well. And that's about it, I'd say, for Richmond, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's not really... I don't want to touch any of their mid-prices.
Just quickly on St Kilda's ruckman in the Rowan Marshall.
Don't go there, God. We talked about it.
I was up at about 1:30 a.m. and I shoot rookie coach a nice little message on our beloved Twitter, and I sent him these trade plans, and there is a world where I do Matthew Dellavedova Flynn to Mr. Rowan Marshall. Now, I don't know if I can actually do this. I don't know. I don't know if I can. The pain that I got Marshall last year, just before his 50 and 60 score, I was looking back on it today when I was looking at trades. I was looking through his stats last year just to remind me of the pain. And then the 3 weeks after, he goes 150 plus. And then I trade him in and out, and then he missed all of his good scores. I don't know if I can do it, but he's certainly someone he's piqued my interest. That's for sure.
Okay. Very, very interesting there. Guys, if you haven't already, just as it says on the screen, chuck in any other questions underneath here. Sorry, we're just missing a few of them as we've gone through all the stuff. Yeah.
Don't take us away.
Mate, I almost wonder if someone else wants to do this, so I can do the North versus Adelaide one.
I can do
Wanna
it.
jump in?
All right,
go
God,
for it.
take us away.
All right. Hawthorn GWS. Okay, so the Wizard had the best game of his career.
Yep.
I think that's pretty safe to
Sorcery.
say. Even definitely best game he's had where he's only kicked one goal. So he clearly likes
Should've
that
come
little
to
Tassie ground. Wouldn't be looking at him for Supercoach though. So, what else do we have here? By the way, 5 frees 4 and 0 against. He just ducks his head everywhere, doesn't he? Oh my god.
He doesn't have to duck his head though. He's that.
I know
tiny.
he's a little midget. Then we've got Mr. Lloyd Meek. He'll be an all right option if you have him. He'll be just fine all year. There's nothing wrong with him. Blake Hardwick, I don't know, could be playing forward, could be playing back any other given week, so don't worry about him. Cam McKenzie's, I think, is a bit of an interesting one. He, I don't know what his average is now, but he seems to be getting a lot of CBAs at the moment. So, I don't know, just maybe one to keep an eye on. Will Day, I was bagging all my mates at quarter time. Was it quarter time or half time? He had like 15 or something at quarter time, 10, 15.
And they took the tag
time.
off him, I think.
And then he was getting tagged and they took it off him and went to nuke him. I thought, what the hell are they doing? And then Day just goes berserk and kicks 1 goal 3 with 24 disposals. So I don't know, you'd be pretty happy if you held Will Day, I guess. Still got 2 potential tags in the next 2 weeks. Who else do we have here? Jai Newcomb. I mean, if you have him, you'd be all right with that. I wouldn't be too concerned. He got a 150 or something last week, so I wouldn't be too concerned with the 90.
The sick dog.
Sicily, 82. I guess we can also speak on a Dylan Moore. I feel like a few people have Dylan Moore too. So Dylan Moore, 84, probably wouldn't be too happy with that. But he's probably just going to average the same as he did last year. Can't really see him doing any more. Sicily, yeah, I mean, who knows where this guy's actually playing? Like forward, back. Maybe they'll chuck him in the midfield next week. I don't know. Maybe the ruck. I don't know. Teams seem to be doing weird things in the ruck these days, chucking Paddy
Triple DPP.
and Ruben Jimby in the ruck and all this random crap. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what Sicily's doing? I probably wouldn't be holding him any longer, to be quite honest. Who else do we have here? That's about it. Is that about it? I think so. Yeah.
I will say, I was looking and watching Amon, and I'm so glad I did not go there for a 79.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, true. He was quite a lot of people brought him in, so yeah, they wouldn't be too happy. Also, D'Ambrosio just doesn't look like he's in his AA squad form like he was last year. So maybe a bit of regression there, more attention, maybe. Who knows? All right. For the GWS Giants, we got Harry Himmelberg, who's got a 117. So he's going to have these scores where he goes 70 one week and 120 the other. It just depends on how many intercept marks he gets, really. Yeah, I think that's all you have to really say on him. Wouldn't be picking him. Whitfield, 109, just classic Whitfield. If you own him, if you don't own him, you hate him. If you own him, you still hate him because he'll probably get a knock mid-game and you'll just be scared to death, and then he'll come back out and you'll be fine. So, but no, very good pick. I think he's definitely someone I'm looking to bring in this week. So yeah, love the Whitfield pick this week. Kieran Briggs, really good one. If you just want to wait a week on, if you still have Flynn on R2 at R2 like me, and you just want to wait a week, Briggs could be the ticket. So yeah, I'm definitely considering it. He's probably going to drop 50k. So, yeah, I think Briggs could be an all right pick next week. Who else here?
Got to go a fair way down the list to find Callahan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you
You're rough.
what. This potato head. Why are they tagging him? Why would you
'Cause-
tag Finn Callaghan, who's had only two good games in the midfield in his bloody career? What are you
'Cause they
doing?
won.
You got Tom Green over here, who's a bloody this somewhat superstar who's meant to be their number one midfielder. But no. You decide to tag Finn Callaghan. What are you doing? I mean, seriously. Oh, well, we just got to cop the score and we move on to the next one, I guess. You'd be gutted if you trade him in this week. Oh, my God. You would be absolutely gutted. I'd almost rage trade him out if I got him in this week. But anyway, who else do we have here? It's about Connor Stone, yeah. Connor Stone. So 46, 68 fantasy. So that just shows his efficiency. Yeah. Apparently I thought these halfbacks were meant to have pretty good kicks, but no, apparently not. So he's a bit more locked down, I think, but oh well, it doesn't matter. It's still 46, not great. Just going to be that slow burn that you hold, and you just hope he gets to like 220, 230k. But yeah, that's about it for the Giants.
Beautiful. I, of course, will take this game where my boys absolutely choked it towards the end. Oh, it's just rough. What's not rough, though, is the Brisbane scoring because, my goodness, where we were rewarded. Will Ashcroft, Washcroft himself, people have traded him out. He had been performing, gave you a ton last week. My goodness. Owners, or the people that I should hold, should say, were heavily rewarded. He absolutely demolished. Neil copped attention, which we'll go into shortly. And we thought Dunkley was going to be the one to really benefit off that. We picked the wrong midfielder. It was Ashcroft. He went berserk. 136. He just wanted to be like Zorko. He saw Zorko go off earlier this season for exactly 136. He's like, oh, watch this. I can do it too. And that's exactly what he did. So I still saw a few people trade him out to a Callaghan. That is definitely, as God said, a rage trade sort of situation where you probably just don't watch the rest of that week because it's a rough one to handle. McCluggage, 136 as well. He can be very inconsistent. So not one I would be looking at too closely. The one that is very interesting, Mr. Zorko, Mr. Biggie himself, Mr. 36 years old is coming out and defining age. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We expect him to do it again this week. So I'll be throwing the cheeky VC on him for me this week just to capture hopefully another 130 score. Would not be surprised if he cracks over 140 this week. So one to watch. Dunkley got kissed at the end a little bit to get just over a ton. His DE is what let him down. Only went at 42% disposal efficiency. It just couldn't seem to find a target. Was just trying to grab the ball and kick it forward, and half of them were getting intercepted. It was just not overall great. Still managed to get 6 tackles, but given the conditions, we were expecting at least maybe 8 and around a 10 at best. So a little bit unfortunate, but again, considering how the midfield went this week, we had rarities and these primos not even reach a ton. So you take it while you can. The unfortunate one is Geelong being Geelong themselves, laid outs, tag targets. They decided to put some attention into Neil. They had Atkins run with him for, I believe, most of the game. It wasn't as bad as Jordan, but Atkins definitely did a decent job and only managed to get Neil to a 71, which was looking dire most of the game, but he managed to scrape through just over 70. As a holder, you'd be pretty mad. This is now, 2 out of 3 games where he's copped the tag? It's not looking very good as an owner. Do you jump off? Do you hold out? Different and unfortunately hard decisions to make with Neil owners. I'd be very curious to see anyone in the chat if you guys have Neil and what you guys are doing, because I can't even understand this predicament if I was an owner. Moving on to more relevant players. We have towards the bottom, unfortunately, maybe Ashcroft was a 36. The conditions just weren't great for him. This wasn't really going to be one of those games where he shined. I think we kind of saw that leading into it, but we definitely expected more. Just a 36. He's still going to be okay. He's got an easy matchup this week, so you still hold on to him. He'll probably have a spike score again and then just reset some of his cash gen. So I think don't stress. Keep him locked in. He'll be good to go. Geelong. I mean, how can we talk about Geelong without talking about Chris Scott? Man himself, defining all logic and common sense with injury updates, causing Supercoach world havoc with late outs and Tom Stewart, late ins like O'Connor to get attention on, I think it was Charlie Cameron, or I think Mullen went to Cameron as well, actually. There was just all these different carnages that happened, and Stewart being a late out was one. Nevitt being the sub was probably the worst one, as most teams do have Nevitt, and he was sitting pretty on the field without an option to move. So thankfully, we got kissed by best 18, where we didn't really have to worry about taking his score, but it meant we were probably taking a lower score because of that. So not great, really unfortunate. But the highlight of this game is we kind of were, at least for myself, skeptical on Holmes being a top 6. Have we essentially changed our consideration of Holmes and where he fits in? Because for me, he's doing pretty well. What do you boys think? Is Holmes sitting in that top 6 category just yet, or do you think he'll regress?
Look, I think he'll be okay. If you had him, you're obviously very happy. It's a bit of a question mark what happens when Tom Stewart comes back, though. Did he get a lot of the ball in the back line? Did he get a couple more kickouts that maybe not happened? Things like that probably affect him a little bit. Even with like Humphrey's elevated scoring as well. Like none of that player there, and Connor O'Sullivan with the 77. So yeah, just a few things there. He's not in my calculations for top 6 at the moment.
Well, I'm pretty pissed off because I was deciphering between Stewart and Holmes that one week, as you guys know. So yeah, I could have instead of making an extra trade last week, I could have just, saved a trade and just got Holmes in and cop 127 scores like he did this week. So, yeah. I reckon he's definitely top 8, 100% top 8. I reckon. I back him in.
Back him in, love it. So, the interesting thing here, Bailey Smith went at 28% DE for this game, and Champion Data love this man. Somehow gave him an 81. This screams opportunity if he cleans up his DE, and it explains why he had a spike score of like the 144 and that first round that we saw him in at GMHBA. He's playing there again this week against the shocking Melbourne, so I am probably expecting a spike score, and if I'm probably bringing him in, so you better give me that spike score. But at 81, you take that if you were holding him. Plus Lettuce, as I've seen some call him, a 77. Look, in comparison to what could have been with Trainer, Reed, and Pryor, 77 you take. If you brought him in, he's still a very happy man. We'll make some cash. Again, be very curious to see what happens when Stewie comes back into the team. Moving down the list. Kai, I have to do it. We have to talk about SDK. This man was unfortunately subbed off. Had 20 hitouts, decently enough, but just couldn't seem to do enough to reward holders. How did you feel about this one, Kai?
I was annoyed at the time that he got subbed out because I'm just trying to bring it up here. He ended up on 10 contested possessions, and Atkins led Geelong with 12. He was leading the contested possessions at the point that he got subbed out by a couple, and then obviously Atkins overtook him. But I just didn't. The sub just stuffed me on both ends, Chris Scott, and it just wasn't a smart sub out in the end because decoding was your best bet of. Even though he was having a stinker, he was still the best bet, I feel like, of being able to get something out of a centre bounce, whereas Blicavs I just don't think would have done anything. And Neil also had a problem as well early in the game that he was nothingness in the game anyway. So I felt like De Koning was just going to be a much better on field than it was off the field, to be honest with you. But he's probably going to, now that I trade him out this week, he's probably going to put a 110 on against Gawn somehow. Both of them go like 120 plus, and I'm just going to sit here like, what am I doing?
Imagine a world where SDK goes absolutely nuts against Gawn. Oof. Havoc. But yeah, we saw Nevitt as sub, only scored a 20 off 19% time on ground. I don't think Nevitt becomes a sub anymore. I think that was just a one-time mistake. Not much more to say. Big J, give us the rundown of your boys.
Mate, I'm not pissed off, but I'm kind of pissed off by this game. Adelaide beat North 114-78. For the longest time, at least heading into the fourth quarter, North were competitive. We were very close. Adelaide's a top 4. We are bottom 4 trying to get out of bottom 4. Similar, I guess, to where Adelaide was. I mean, they were, 4th last on the ladder last year. Their team is so much better than that. And they brought in 3, best 22 players in Peatling, in who is the rest? Neil Bullen, and then incoming as well, who obviously 3 mature age players to help steady the ship alongside Sid Draper, who was sub again, and still kicked 2 goals. So, yeah, a bit of a rough one there. North, at least if we lose games, we've shown that we'll make you feel it. Josh Rochelle out for a few weeks with some broken ribs too. So lucky there. Rory Laird, best game of the season for him. 14 contested possessions, just dominated through that position. Isaac Rankin, very, very happy he did not become the sub. 4 free kicks, 4, which kind of elevated his scoring a little bit, but you'd think he'd go for 1 or 2 goals. Scored 2 behinds. So maybe that kind of evens out a little bit. For 19 contested possessions, just monster game. And it's these type of players that was always going to rip North Melbourne a new butthole, and it obviously happened. As Corey says in the chat, if you had Riley Thilthorpe at 370k starting the season, you'd be very happy. Has really taken on the second ruck / key forward role. Another 3 goals this week for the 110. I know Shaq, if he's watching in the chat, has Riley Thilthorpe, so very, very happy there for him. Moving down the list, Saligo, another score as well, one of those 400k-ish guys. Are they going to be keepers or not? So he came out with the 108. Would have outscored my entire midfield this week if I had him in my team. Ben Keys, 104, not really relevant in Supercoach. Moving down the list, Jordan Dawson was one that I wish had scored better. Just got moved around a bunch and poor disposal efficiency with 63. I think he was in the battle a little bit with a few of our midfielders and then got moved around and then resting forward and stuff and just wasn't as effective, I think, in the game. If you had Peatling by now, you've majority traded him out. But if you didn't, cool, he outscored half my midfield. So happy with the 93 there. Dan Curtin, sneaky pick. I don't know what he's up to at the moment, but let me just check out price. So Dan Curtin's probably the one rookie that no one's picked. He's now over 200k. And has a decent enough break even as well. Negative 51 as well. So if you had him, 150k, you're one of those people. He's a lot better than Johnson, a lot better than Stone, probably better than Kako and a few of these others. So you would have been very, very well rewarded there. Moving down the list, probably no one else super relevant. Some people have Cumming, 56 is not great. Sid Draper with the 50, probably don't have him either in Supercoach. So yeah, that's probably Adelaide. Just a really dominant display. What is it? Differential of 200-ish points. So just under 200 points. So North didn't get smashed too much in the battle, but maybe just cleaner with the ball. Heading over to North Melbourne, bit of a sucky game. Jai Simpkin, highest score on the field with a 119. I've seen a few people try and think about bringing him in to the side. So limited preseason, definitely after that Indigenous game and kind of performances and whatnot, but has had 3 scores ending up in 336 total. So, the average is definitely there, averaging a 112, I think, just for around 440k or 465. So, there's a world where potentially he ends up being the keeper that a few people had him like myself last year if he keeps up this role. Wardlaw could be an acquisition that messes things around a little bit, so I just have to be careful there. Caleb Daniel with another 100-plus score, so very happy with that. One that almost had a 100-plus score was Luke McDonald. Pretty sure he took a few intercepts and whatnot. Generally just a good defender on the day. Wanted a bit more from him, but it is what it is. Nick Larkey, I believe, is still number one in the Coleman, unless someone else has taken that away. 4 goals there. Not really Supercoach relevant, but nice to say. Harry Sheasel, 89. A little bit back to his best. I think there was some junk time scoring, though, where he just put on a few extra points. Nice to see his Supercoach and DT, though, around the same mark, which is a decent enough indicator of his performance. Tristan Cherry, hamstring awareness. Mr. Hamstring awareness. Coach has come out and said, hey, look, he played the rest of the game. He'll be fine. So no worries. No one else really Supercoach relevant. We spoke about before about Finn O'Sullivan potentially going backwards. I would jump off now if you haven't jumped off already on him. Harry Sheasel's probably got a couple of question marks role with guys like Caleb Daniel taking a bit of that halfback run-through role. What happens with him in the forward line? He's not the main outlet anymore either. And then midfield. Like if we try and put the ball in the hands of LDU and a few others, Harry Sheasel a little bit there. If I had the spare trades and my team wasn't in a shambles, I would potentially look to go him to a Sinclair or somewhere. And then if he gets forward DPP or mid, cool, he might become... let's pretend if Harry Sheasel gets forward DPP, he might turn up to be a keeper. But outside of that, it's a bit raw. So, yeah. Bit of a rough one.
Very
good.
Sheasel
playing defense the last quarter helped. So there you go, Corey.
Yeah, definitely did. Hi, give
and
us
then
the
we
rundown.
We get the wooden spoon special this game. 17th versus 18th. The Reed Cup, was it in the end? Or the Reed Cup, I would say. Was it 3 or was it 4? 1?
It was definitely 3.
It's 3. There's 3 there, yeah. So the Reed Cup, whatever you want to call it. For West Coast, it's going to be mostly just cash generators this year. They're not going to have a premium. I don't think Marek is going to be any more than a top 15, top 20 type of forward, but he could be a top 6 forward for 5 or 6 rounds, and suddenly you're like, oh, he's made 150k. He's got a really juicy role at the moment, but honestly, I could easily see that flipping around, because why would you drop a rookie who's just had his best game of his career in Clay Hall? I know that you brought Graham over, but I just think they need to keep playing the youngsters, and I think they should have found a way to get Hall in there, to be honest with you, and that could easily stuff around with all their rotations. Liam Duggan could easily go somewhere that I'm just like, he could stuff everyone around. And then the best ruckman at West Coast got a 93, I would say. Bailey Williams. God, do you have any thoughts on that?
He did not deserve a 93. Get out of here. Are you kidding me? Bloody Luke Jackson destroyed you. Destroyed you. You should not be getting a game again, BJ Williams. Jesus Christ. I tell you what, 22 hitouts compared to 35 against Luke Jackson. Matt Flynn would have just bodied Luke Jackson and got 40 hitouts. Mate, get Matty Flynn back in. Play him against Briggs this week, and then I tell you what, I don't think they'll do it, but I mean, seriously, if you can't be a better ruckman than BJ Williams, I did see that Flynn did get kicked 2 goals in the Pracky game in the Waffle this week, so I don't think hit-out stats came out or anything. I'm not too sure, but
anyone.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Flynn, he's really pissing me off now. So I think I might just have to go to Briggs next week, but hopefully he comes back this week and takes BJ's spot.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I that's the problem with BJ. It's haven't paid up, and it's a bit disappointing.
Anyway, Reed somehow had less disposals, less hit outs, but only 2 goals compared to last week, 0 goals, 2, and 4 more marks or whatever. And ends up going from a 9 to a 86, which just shows how chaotic the ruck stocks are for the West Coast Eagles. And then you can basically just disregard everything else that happened for West Coast because they don't have their draftee in the likes of. I don't think they have any of their 2025 draftees or their most recent draft class. I don't think. And then Hewitt sub, that was just dumb. Why'd you do that? That he's going to be a slow burn. He'll come back into the side. I feel like they're going to make some changes and everything, but 22 from him was a little bit annoying. But anyway, we go on to Fremantle. Jackson, we've seen him do it before. I think he popped a 170 without Darcy last year, I want to say. And then the week that Darcy came back, he scored like a 60. And then I was wondering what to do with him. So, word of warning, don't go him because you're going to be annoyed when Darcy comes back. He might score 100 this week with Darcy because they feed Darcy in slowly. But when Darcy gets that 70+% ruck contest, Luke Jackson ain't going to score well unless he kicks 3+. And then Brayshaw, he got the extra disposals this week. I think he had 18 disposals last week, but up to 29 this week. And that just elevated that score to a 131. And efficient as always, I'm pretty sure. Murphy Reed, that was surprising, to be honest with you. These small forward or medium forwards always seem to be the ones that get away from me because I always go, oh, that's a shocking role. I'd rather almost the guy who's in a horrific team or almost the impact player like a Foz over a Murphy Reed. Whereas should have probably seen that Murphy Reed was going to get enough touches to beat Foz out. So yeah, he's going to, even with like 50s, make like 120k in 3 weeks or something like that. So he's a guy that's probably going to get away from us non-owners as, yeah, he's got that 106 in his system that I think Corey brought up an hour or so ago that he's got that for 3 weeks now. Sarong, he got to a 105, which he just wish he'd gone more. But the marks and tackles is a little bit annoying that you could only get to that. I think Graham tried to tag him, but Graham's literally a role player trying to do something. He's not the quality of James Jordan. Doesn't have that in the legs now with him, even though he's like 26 or 27. But yeah, Sarong, he'll be fine in the long run. Just sucks that he's had a slowish start. O'Driscoll, another one that I'm surprised about as well. 7% CBAs, I want to say, for a 104. So yeah, he was outstanding, and he'll be a guy that is probably going to be the long-standing rookie in the midfield unless he has the role change or a role like reversal with all the incoming for Freo. Jordan Clark got to his 100. He's just going to do this week in, week out. I don't think he's a guy that you get now. I feel like he's a guy that you get round 15, 16, 17 as that sort of your final defender or that defender that you can play off the bench or something like that. The 23rd premium or 24th premium in that scenario. And then Dudley, we wait a week like that with Trav. And then no one else really to talk about. I mean, Luke Ryan, could he eat into Clark's score in other weeks is probably something that we just get to wait and watch for a couple of months. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Freo. Top end scoring, but they have players returning, which could cause chaos, and that's probably why I'm not going to touch any of them for a couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, felt like Caleb Sarong. I posted in the chat earlier. It was Jai Clark challenge to get to 100. I think it was Jordan Clark, not Jai Clark, wrong team. I think it was Caleb Sarong challenge to get to 100 as well. The guy was tagged into oblivion and somehow got 35 touches and made the 105. So if you had him, you'd be very, very happy. Just with that performance, wasn't great.
I don't know. I was watching the game and I couldn't really see a visible tag. He was going on multiple multiple
Maybe
different people at
poor efficiency then.
at centre bounces. I think it was just efficiency. Like, yeah, it's just annoying. Mark's tackles as well is concerning. I don't know. It's an annoying pick. You pick him. I picked him. I obviously knew the first 2 weeks were going to be a bit difficult, and then after that, it obviously opened up. So hopefully he'll be fine. But he should be fine. He still hasn't scored under 100. So, but yeah, just need some bigger scores from him. Another one quickly. I got a question. Is O'Driscoll on track for an All-Australian wing role?
He's doing pretty well, hey. I mean, he's
no, seriously. He actually
he's doing pretty
and
well.
Baz on the wings. It's not out of the question. He's going really well.
Yeah, the problem is that they'll select one winger and they'll put an extra midfielder, and they pick effectively a rookie. I know that it's like his third, fourth year, but his first full season as an All-Australian, don't think so. I think they'll go with Baz just because of the attention if it was to be picked today, the attention he has on the AFL media.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's looking good, the naughty man.
Yeah, do you want to just... Big J, do you want to just roll the questions from like 8:45 or so?
Yep. Let's just quickly go through how we scored last week, and then we'll bump through the questions. Everybody. Big J, 1944. Best player was Zorko again. I think it's almost been 3 weeks in a row. Worst player outside of Lindsay. I feel bad for picking a first-year rookie that got injured. So Rosie and Callahan, hopefully they bounce back. 2 disappointing players that I thought were going to do very well for me. Overall rank 3,901. Who's up next, guys?
Yeah, I'll go. So 1951. For me, pretty happy with the week. Zorko was definitely my best player. Trade him in this week, so pretty happy with that. Yeah, you could say Rosie was my worst player. You could say the West Coast coaching staff was my worst player. You could say Horn Francis was my worst player. I don't know. There's so many players to pick from. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we got a positive score there with 1951. Overall rank is actually, I think it's 15,500. So
nice.
That was my one last week. I didn't text it into the chat, so I kind of stuffed you up there, rookie. But yeah, no, pretty good week by me.
Easy. I somehow scraped through a 1975, which I will happily put on the back of Sinclair's massive score. Obviously the best player on the squad for this week. The worst player, there could have been many, but I chose to bring in Fridge because, oh man, it was meant to be a stopgap that would give me at least, like, I would have taken an 80 happily just to, hold over, because I was expecting the rookies to not do what they did, and it just didn't work out that way. The Fridge broke down. Just a horrid trade-in, probably the worst trade-in of the season. He, as I said, it might have been a one-day show-up, and he's already gone potentially. But we did manage to climb back into the top 2K and maintain the top 1% overall rank. So pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, we'll just finally skip over mine awfully quickly here. Lowest score of the week again. Davidson, shining light. Chris Scott can get in the bin, and yeah, he can go off to retirement now. He's done enough. And then I'm 40k has somehow dropped even further down. I feel like some of the teams that just left their team after round 1 are probably just ahead of me at this point. But yeah, let's hope this week I can do something. Let's hope I don't get stuck with a 55 effectively counting or whatever that is. Yeah, my midfield I had Nod was my second highest scorer with 104. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, hopefully I can get a better score and actually go up the ranks this time.
No, that's not right. What happened there? What are we doing? Let's figure this out. That's not us. That's not us. That's not us. we're gonna figure this out. Why is it not working?
No, we believe in the comeback season, Kai. It was my motto. It was my motto last year, and it definitely did not work. But no,
We're gonna do that.
I'm doing the opposite of the Swans last year. I'm starting off slow, and I'm gonna work my way into it.
You're like,
All right,
you're gonna be like the Lions.
Yeah.
We're going to plow through these questions now just so everyone can finish up. It is now 9 o'clock, so we won't spend too much longer. Are you guys using another boost this week? Hands up, boost crew. Boost crew. Cool. No. Okay. 3
Put
out of
that
4 and a
hand
half.
up, God. You're getting into Marshall. Come on now.
No, yeah, I think I'm going to bring in Whitfield actually, but I don't know.
How long before Chabby Joe has Timmy and Rona in his rucks? We'll see how long. Thoughts on Thilthorpe as a top 6 pick? Kind of covered this before, but yeah, would have been very, very interesting to start him. Good cash grab. If he keeps up this level of scoring, 100 plus is probably a keeper there. Just depends on who else will get available. I've got Meek. Should I trade out for the buy round, guys, or just keep Meek and say, cool, that's it?
Just hold him.
Yeah. Old, cool. Taking the tag off day was a dumb move, 100%. What do I do? Hold Stewart again or worry about the round 12 buy play? So many dogs, Roos, and Power sneaking in. Yeah, it's probably a good time if you want to spend up that 100K if you can manage it. Maybe downgrade somebody and get in Sinclair. If that's not the worst thing you've got to do, it could definitely work out okay. Is it okay to get rid of Kako, guys, or do we want to keep him? Scoring seems very up and down. Break even of 11 at 180K.
I don't hate it. I think it's a perfectly fine trade out if it gets you like a Bice, for example, in flex. Sure.
Yeah, downgrade probably.
Or even if you have enough money to go to like a Marich or a Humphrey as well. I reckon that's a good trade. It's just surely you probably have another rookie that's a bit worse that you can get rid of. But if you don't, I mean, I don't hate it. No.
To be fair, he is sitting on the buy. So he does have no week of cash gen. You pretty much Bice or Moraes is going to get up to the 180 that he's currently sitting at. So, then he's got an 11 break even.
Even like 10, 20K and go get Murphy Breed if you want to be a bit cheeky. Which one would you trade out? Lindsay, Ashcroft, or Sardis if you had to trade one? I think keep Lindsay. I'm 50-50 on trading out Ashcroft, and he offers the most value, I think. So, yeah, I think if you've held Sardis now, he should be back next week. Has a super low break-even and good scoring potential. I think out of the three, he's got the best scoring potential, really. Just like he's going to go for another 100 at some point. So, I would probably trade out Ashcroft.
I mean, if you haven't traded out Sardis already, you probably not. So
yeah,
if you stuck through it through this week, there's no point getting him out. I'd probably say I wouldn't trade out Ashcroft this week because he's got Richmond, doesn't he? So it could literally ton up if you wanted to. So. I don't know. There's every chance he's sub as well. I think we just wait till team sheets, to be honest.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Do I get rid of Horn Francis or hold? A few of us have traded already. Probably worth trading him. Might get up the tag. He's going to drop a lot in price. Captain Flash, thoughts on Soligo? Could be a sneaky pod. I like him. I think he's one that you probably should have started, though. Not tried to bring him in now. Sam Darcy, guys, if you jump on him now, it's not the worst pick in the world. Still looks good.
Looks better than the Horny, man.
Yeah. I don't know what he's up. I'll just have a look at his
455K break even of 28.
His upcoming fixture is he's got Pierce. Does Pierce even play? He got hurt, didn't he?
Pretty sure he got back on the field though. So I think
he get back on. So and then he's got Brisbane, Harris Andrews, St Kilda, Wilkie. It's not terrible, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was one you had to start. Maybe just prioritize getting your Baz or your Mariches in now instead of Sam Darcy?
Ben, I was in the top 2%, and then I thought that was good till my brother ran into my room Sunday, told me he's ranked 37th. Mate, brothers, who needs it? I tell you what. Curtin was on my radar early preseason. Yet I wish I had picked him over a few of these other players. Would have been very, very happy. Missed 2 opportunities where he could have had goal assist. Dawson, too, as the player, dropped the mark. There you go. Curtin, good for draft. Picked up Nod in draft and had him on field. Fantastic. Who are the best rookies to get in for cash generation this week? Moraes, Bice, Reed, if you want him. I think that's probably about it.
Yep.
So I'm missing one.
No,
Ashcroft better go 85 plus. L Ashcroft, that is. Sorry, at halfback was interesting. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm not convinced. I think if the ball is not going to be in their back line much. Sorry. She's getting the bin, paid up for you. Now disappointed like me when Gohan was there. There you go. Hopefully you guys understand the Dragon Ball Z reference. Get Holmes or Sinclair, guys, for this week. Probably Sinclair, right, if you had to.
Sinclair, for sure.
Yeah. Marek going to make 150. Isaiah Dudley, let's wait. I feel like I'm going backwards, but that's okay. Why are they not playing Finn? There you go. Bice or Moraes, if you guys had to pick one.
Bice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bice.
Moraes.
Yeah, you reckon? Who
It
goes
depends.
out?
It depends on with the rookies that you already have in the back line, I think.
Okay.
Because if you got all of Pryor, Reid, and Trainer, I don't know if I want to field 2 rookies in the back line, to be honest. Even though they've all had a good week this week, the first 2 weeks didn't look too good. So,
What
I
if
get
Bice
Bice is
ends
going
up
in my
flex?
flex.
Yeah.
yeah, flex. I mean, yeah.
Not fair. Last couple of questions, guys. Hamling has a negative 50 break even this week as well. Forward selection. Dazo Bra, my worst disappointing was seriously Oliver. What is he doing? 3 missed shots, chest marks once they had 5 attempts to pick the ball. Yeah, I wonder if that's like him trying too much. Monday night wars are back. There you go. Joe said to switch over to the insider stream with Ben, Swizz, and Supercoach Pro. There you go. We're going to finish up now. Anyway, Jonas Goat, last person. Thank you, boys. Have a good night. We'll see you once the team sheets drop. There you go. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, if you haven't already, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, sub to all these fellas. We're trying to get Rookie Coach to 500 subs, if that's possible, in the shortest amount of time. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We got members live stream tomorrow at 6, and then the drive home on Thursday. So Joe will be back. No Essendon playing the last game. Guys, any final thoughts, tips, tricks for heading into round 4?
Team Marich. Humpty Dumpty's going to have a big fall.
Yeah.
So don't pick him or pick him?
I mean, pick him if you want him to regress and have a big fall. Sure, that works in my favor. Do go pick him.
Yeah, no. Marich is if we're talking racing terms, he's the pick of the yard for me.
Okay. Guy?
Yeah, I don't have much. I don't. Am I even considered an expert anymore at 40K or whatever?
400. Yeah. Maybe we should do an over-unders. What's a pass mark for Marich this week, guys? Over-unders. We'll talk about it next week.
80? Yeah.
Yeah.
80.
I'll go 85.
Yeah, 85. Yeah. I'll take it 85. No worries.
Fair enough. Guys, you heard it here first. Marich 85. Let us know next week. Hey, Big J. Hey, God and Rookie Coach. Marich scored 15. He got sub. That was it. Done. All right. Catch you in the next one, fellas. Have a good week. Bye.
See you guys.